Next on the 5 o'clock report.
It is simply unsafe to be around that much debris with this level of wind.
People will get a 68% tax increase, the largest in history.
You certainly can't put hands on an ICE agent.
It's okay for my athlete daughter to have zero chance to win. Zero chance.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Family Life News anchor Sarah Harnish. It could be another doozy tonight in Tornado Alley. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear spent the day touring the damage from dozens of twisters this week.
We need everybody to be weather aware. We need everybody to have a place to go tonight, preferably that has a basement.
He's calling for voluntary evacuations of zones already hit with tornadoes as more storms roll through. He says splintered homes and trees can become projectiles.
It is simply unsafe to be around that much debris with this level of wind.
The National Weather Service today saying this is officially the second largest tornado outbreak in U.S. history. 108 tornadoes in a week, 42 of them in the last 48 hours. Faith-based organizations are already on the ground. Brad Parrott is pastor of Soul Harbor Church in one of the hardest hit areas, London, Kentucky.
Obviously, just as a pastor, your heart breaks to hear those kind of stories, and that's your immediate concern and worry is just how are all of our families.
Haley Henson with CBN's Operation Blessing says they've been praying with storm victims and distributing hot meals and supplies.
We've been hitting the road to these areas that have been heavily hit and making sure that they have a warm meal as well as water to give them the energy they need to be able to start to clean up.
Now to Washington, D.C. and the budget buy-in. President Trump went to Capitol Hill today, joining House Speaker Mike Johnson to sway some Republican votes for the next American spending plan.
If we don't get it, that means the Democrats will have stopped us, and that means people will get a 68% tax increase, the largest in history.
Trump meeting with Republicans one by one because passage is uncertain. CBS reporter Weijie Jiang.
There is a division within the party, at least within the House, on how to vote on this. But privately, we know that he is really urging these lawmakers to find a solution because, again, he wants this bill to pass.
There has been yet another system outage at Newark International Airport.
Just be advised, we may be having a frequency outage. It may be a while. They lost the radar and frequencies again.
CBS's Chris Van Cleave.
The sky was full of planes when this brief outage hit. Now, the FAA says it lasted just 2 seconds, but a source familiar said it took about a minute for things to fully come back online. The disruption prompted controllers at the airport to hold departing flights for a time at Newark, while other controllers warned flights they may not be able to communicate with the planes in the air.
In Louisiana, a jail employee was arrested today after 10 inmates escaped.
There was a maintenance worker who got arrested.
Former Sheriff Marlon Gussman oversaw the construction of the jail. He said inmates would have needed inside help to get out.
I saw those cells being made.
He says industrial tools would have been needed to remove a toilet from a wall and cut through rebar.
It's really mind-blowing.
6 inmates remain at large. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is standing before Congress at this hour, facing tough questions on President Trump's cost-saving cuts.
Some of these programs make all the sense in the world, but frankly, on the priority scale, perhaps other programs are more important. Others, frankly, made no sense at all.
Rubio also defended Israel's plans to take military control of Gaza.
Whether it's Hamas or some successor organization that spins out of it, that has to be a factor that you eliminate. And one of the ways you prevent it is by having a governing authority on the ground in Gaza that can provide the security necessary to allow there to be the peace necessary so you can have the prosperity we hope for.
Don't mess with ICE. Federal prosecutors have charged Democratic Representative LaMonica McGyver with pushing and grabbing ICE officers that were attempting to arrest the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, outside an immigration detention facility. Mayor Ross Baccara insists she's innocent.
The councilwoman will be vindicated. Everybody can see those videos. They'll see the whole thing, and it'll be clear to me, and it'll be clear to her in court.
But Border Czar Tom Homan says otherwise.
You certainly can't put hands on an ICE agent. So, she's going to have to pay the consequences for doing what she did. She broke the law, and we're going to hold her accountable.
In the Midwest, parents pleaded for fairness in sports last night at a school board meeting in Naperville, Illinois. It's because a trans athlete there is being allowed to compete in middle school track meets.
I just want you to look me in the eye and tell me it's okay for my athlete daughter or her teammates to have zero chance to win. Zero chance.
It is women and girls who are pushed out of races, out of records, and out of recognition. This is not progress. This is a huge step backward.
A lawsuit's been filed against that school district alleging it's violating federal law by allowing a biological boy to compete against girls in middle school sports. Still to come on the 5 o'clock report, voting day on deck in the Empire and Keystone states. Hochul apologizes to Native Americans, and it's time for the Corning Glass Fest. We've got details after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Well, certainly turned out to be balanced, a pleasant, albeit cool day today. Pleasant may not be a term used to describe the next several days, though. This says an area of low pressure is set to deliver rain and chill and gray skies that'll be with us for several days, including the start, at least, of the Memorial Day weekend. The call for tonight, increasing clouds. Some showers reach parts of central western Pennsylvania, far southwest New York late. Low temps 40s. Tomorrow and Thursday, cloudy, damp, and chilly with periods of rain. High temperatures in the 50s to near 60 tomorrow. Could be a rumble of thunder in western Pennsylvania. The high temperatures may struggle to break 50 in some areas on Thursday.
Thank you, Kevin. Checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. It is time to vote. It is primary day in Pennsylvania and school budget day in New York. While Pennsylvania primaries don't draw the same level of attention as a presidential election, political analyst Dr. David Sosar tells WBRE, in some ways, local elections are even more impactful.
This is an election that really matters because these are the people who are closest to you who do the work. They plow your streets, they collect your garbage, they're in charge of police forces that protect you.
Sosar says today's votes are less about party and more about choosing the right person on the ballot to lead at the local level.
It's up to the local communities to do that. And that's why, again, local elections make such a difference.
Pennsylvania polls close at 8 p.m. You'll have to check your local school district in New York for voting times and places there. There's legislation in the works in the Pennsylvania House to change the rules for primary voting. Family Life's Brian Query has more.
For 88 years, Pennsylvania has had closed primary elections, meaning only registered Republicans and Democrats can vote, and they can only vote for people in their own party. This means independents and third-party voters do not have a say in their options for the November election. Proposed Pennsylvania House Bill 280 would still have Republicans and Democrats vote for their own parties, but would allow non-affiliated voters to pick which primary to cast a vote for, a policy that 40 states currently follow. Brian Query, Family Life News.
An official apology. That's what New York Governor Kathy Hochul gave today to Native Americans in Chautauqua County, telling members of the Seneca Nation the state is sorry for what transpired at a state boarding school that operated there from 1875 until 1957.
We gather here on Seneca territory to formally recognize on behalf of the state of New York the atrocities that happened here at the Thomas School.
Hochul says the Thomas Indian School separated Native American children from their families and forced them to assimilate into American society. Seneca National President J. Conrad Seneca says the apology was long overdue.
Today is about the children and the families that had to endure the hardships and mistreatment that occurred here on this piece of land at this campus of the Thomas Indian School.
His father attended that school. And the 16th annual Corning Museum of Glass Glass Fest is this weekend. The fun begins at noon on Friday at Centerway Square. There's live entertainment, activities for the kids, concerts, 100 different vendors, and fireworks, as well as a Memorial Day tribute that will happen in Riverfront Park on Sunday with a field of flags.
And that is an opportunity for community members to come in and fill out a tag honoring their veteran or they're currently serving a service person.
Colleen Fabrici is Executive Director of Corning's Gaffer District. On deck next, Hometown Heroes with our own Mark Webster. Let's listen in.
May is Foster Care Month, and most every day of the year is about foster care for Cheryl Flick. The Western New York woman's not only fostered 15 children, but since 2018 has been working with other foster parents to operate the Western New York Foster Closet, distributing donated clothing and other necessities to foster families.
So my husband and I were foster parents, and we had 15 kids come through our doors over a 9-year period, and all of them came with almost absolutely nothing. So I heard of another closet open in Pennsylvania, and I said to a couple other foster mom friends that we needed something like this here.
What have you seen since you opened this to help out? I mean, anybody who's reared children, either foster or otherwise, knows how expensive it is.
Right.
It's daunting. So
well,
this must be really helpful.
Yeah, that's a big part of the reason we started, because everybody who volunteers for the closet fosters or did at one point, so they knew the financial strain that it could be placed on a family. Our 2 kids showed up December 31st, a week after Christmas, so we had Christmas with our own 3 children, and then 2 school-age children showed up with nothing that they could wear to school. So on top of needing to buy sneakers and everything else from head to toe, we had to go and buy backpacks, gym sneakers, and school supplies, which if you have ever had to buy school supplies in a month other than August or September, there are no sales.
Good luck with that.
So, you're looking for things and it's hard to find them, and they're more expensive, So we knew that this would initially relieve the burden of children when they came into care.
Talk to somebody who maybe is thinking of fostering. And I don't even want to say sell them on it, but just give them the picture of why it can be such a blessing.
Yeah, no, it can absolutely be a blessing, because you're changing somebody's life. You're making a positive impact. And I hear constantly, I could never foster because I would have to give the children up and send them back home. And that happens all the time. And my husband and I experienced it, where you fall in love with children and then they leave your house and you're home crying for days or weeks or months or years. But you know that at the end of the day, you did what was right for that child when they needed it. The goal is always for the child to return home no matter what happened in the situation. So you have to keep that at the forefront of your mind.
That's Cheryl Flick, a veteran foster mom and founder of the Western New York Foster Closet, aiding fellow foster families. Please join us again next time as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.
You can subscribe, listen to, and share Hometown Heroes and all of Family Life's original podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or at familylife.org.
People who are serious followers of Jesus Christ want to do God's will. Hi, I'm Rob West with today's Faith and Finance Minute, and I'm going to tell you what God's will is for your financial life. Really. Here it is from 1 Timothy 6. Paul tells Timothy, "Command those who are rich in this present world." And that would include most of us who live in 21st century America. We are quite wealthy by historical standards. "Command them not to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God. Command them to do good and to be generous and willing to share." There you go. Don't put your hope in wealth, but in God, and use what He's given you to do good and to be generous. All the rest is just details. Connect with a certified Kingdom advisor who's been trained to deliver financial advice that aligns with your Christian values by visiting our website, faithfi.com.
Coming up on the 5 o'clock report, an unusual cap and gown ceremony at Rollins College. You won't guess who got a diploma. That story after weather.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Well, certainly turned out to be balanced. A pleasant, albeit cool day today. Pleasant may not be a term used to describe the next several days, though. This says an area of low pressure is set to deliver rain and chill and gray skies that'll be with us for several days, including the start, at least, of the Memorial Day weekend. The call for tonight, increasing clouds. Some showers reach parts of central western Pennsylvania, far southwest New York late. Low temps 40s. Tomorrow and Thursday, cloudy, damp, and chilly with periods of rain. High temperatures in the 50s to near 60 tomorrow. Could be a rumble of thunder in western Pennsylvania. And high temperatures may struggle to break 50 in some areas on Thursday.
All right, Kevin, finally at 5, it was graduation day ×2 for Rollins College senior Cecilia Hernandez. She made it through with the help of her service dog, Canella, after struggling with cardiac issues. She walked the stage, and so did the pup beside her.
In addition to presenting Cecilia with her diploma, we also wish to recognize the service companion who has accompanied her throughout her Rollins career, Canella.
Cecilia says she never would have graduated without that pup.
I overcame so much already just to get through high school. How am I going to make it through college? Once I had her by my side, I was able to actually envision myself getting to graduation.
School's not over yet, though. The dynamic duo is set to start a PhD program. It's the dog with a diploma. And that's the world that we live in for Tuesday, the 20th of May. I'm Sarah Harnish, and this is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.